Alright, so here's what we're going to be building today. We're going to be building a Intel system. We got an Intel i7 13700K. We got Team Group Elite Plus DDR5 memory. We're building this all in a View 71 TG from Thermaltake. This thing is huge. We have an MSI Pro Z-790 Wifi. Got our Intel SSD6 hard drive SSD. For power supply, we have an EVGA 650W, which I might end up recommending they change to something a little bit stronger. 2 terabyte hard drive, a gigabyte 4070 Ti. And for the cooler, we have a Arctic Liquid Freeze 2. I actually had someone in the chat asking me about this yesterday. So this is my first build with one of those. This case is stupid big. Like, wow. So, one thing right off the bat that I'm noticing is it comes with like a GPU riser, but I don't see a cable for that GPU riser. This thing is huge. So let me see if this actually comes with that riser cable. Nope. Warning, CPU cooler height limitation. That's interesting. Doesn't say, oh, it does say something about a riser cable, but it's not here. So we'll pull that off because we're just going to go right into the motherboard. Let's start by removing this guy. Let's see what's in this box. Hey, that's exactly what I was looking for. Perfect. So it looks like that's your controller, but it still doesn't have the vertical mount, which is neither here nor there. All right, let's get some music going. And let's get this build going. So first things first, like I do with all my builds, we're going to figure out the fans, where all the fans are going to go. And then we are going to, geez, these cables, like I love this. These cables are at least 3 feet long. These cables on these fans are longer than like Linus is tall. Like, whoa. So everything, all right, so this case is interesting. I'm already seeing some things that I dislike about it, but I'm also seeing some things I really like about it. So one, power supplies in the front. That's a dislike for me. I like hiding power supplies. So we're gonna keep that fan, we're gonna keep those fans, and then we're gonna mount this cooler up top. This is going to end up somewhere around here-ish. This should be an NVMe. Yep, that's an NVMe. So this can actually go... I could literally mount this thing on the outside of this case. Holy crap. At least I'm not going to end up with that rat's nest of cables like I normally do with the Corsair stuff. Alright, so this is going to get mounted dead center here. Actually, and because even, we'll go this way. This is gonna be, this reminds me of like crab legs. Like the way these cables look. It's just like, I can't get over these cables. All right, let's get this guy flipped. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna build the cooler now. All right, let's take a look at this cooler. This is actually my first time looking at this and kind of unboxing this, so I guess I'll do a quick little review on this. So this is the Arctic Liquid Freezer 2, 280 RGB, multiple compatibility, all-in-one CPU cooler with RGB. Get this open here. Let's see what comes in the box. Hardware, more hardware. Wow. Oh, it comes pre-assembled. Well, that's something. Something you very rarely see. Fans are already installed. So, and it's zip tied and everything? Wow. So all of these cables run through here, go into this cable. Let's get this out of here. And then that whole thing, it runs down this cable, goes through here, and then comes out the bottom. And this is, the pump is actually integrated into this. And there's a fan here as well. Okay. Let's see what this is. And we have another controller here with SATA power. Get a little bit of double-sided tape with that. And then this is the brackets for this. One thing I'm not seeing is I'm not seeing like a little instruction book in this. So I guess you're just kind of on your own. Online in different languages, so yeah, you're kind of on your own unless you, like if you're building your computer and it's your only computer, then you're kind of on your own. So this actually takes a step out for me. Like normally I would be working on putting this together. I don't actually need to, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to be using this kit. This is the back plate. Like I need to look at the instructions for this for sure. But like just looking at this, I'm mildly confused. Because this is the bracket for this thing. All right, I'm gonna need to pull up the instruction manual for this because this thing is unlike any cooler I've ever seen before. So I guess it's just good luck. It's got to be these guys. And it's a guess. You can't do this, Arctic. You gotta tell people which screws to use where, because this is the fact that I'm guessing here, and your instruction manual says like nothing is a huge problem. Like you'd expect people to have common sense, but like even now, I don't know which way these go. Do these go this way or do these go this way? Because I can install them either way. I'm guessing it's this way. But the fact that I do not know for sure, Again, we are guessing here. Sure, we'll call that good. And now let's pull out the motherboard. Get on call here in a second. I'll come back to the rest of the stuff in that box. I would tell the customer to get a different cooler if I can't figure it out, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to figure it out. So one thing that I noticed the instructions said to do is, which way does this thing actually go on here? This is terrible. These instructions, like, I'm holding this block in my hand, that which looks completely different than what they're saying to put on here. And just say, not a fan of this bracket, but if everything works out, sure, that'll be great. Just not a fan of this bracket in general. And having to assemble this. Alright, so, and then that's going to line up with these holes somehow? I'm still, like, slightly confused which way this thing should be going. So in theory, right now, all of these should be sticking through these holes. They line up. That's good enough. Sort of. Say that. And then it's like they sort of line up. I feel like this thing is going to bend this board. Yeah, see, this one is not lining up through this hole at all. What am I missing? I feel like this is wrong. Let's see if this is even going to clear. That's in there. So I'm assuming this goes this way? Yeah, that is how it goes. Alright, so we'll set this off to the side now. I just want to make sure this is actually making contact with the die. Looks like it is. Okay. So we have some fan screws in here, which you don't want to use. You don't want to try and shove these into this aluminum. That would end very poorly for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Right, let's get this installed up top. I'll adjust the camera here, uno momento. Going to get all these screws ready to go. What I like doing is I like putting the washers on the screws so I can grab them and just go without having to do this while I'm trying to hold on to the radiator and hold it in place. We're gonna go this way. One screw. So we're going to get this installed. And we're going to look, I gotta see if that power supply is modular. Because if that power supply is modular, then I'm gonna pull out the CPU power cables. Ooh, we're gonna have a problem. Because this is our motherboard. And you can see it's actually hitting up here. Like it won't actually fit underneath there. So this has to, I'm not even sure which way I'm gonna go with this. Figure that out. Building with parts in a case that I've never built in before. It's the worst that can happen, right? I don't even know if moving this thing this far over would help it clear. This might end up having to be like a front mount. You're losing me quick, Thermaltake. Losing me real quick. I have no idea what to do here. Because even if I were to put this thing here, there's not enough room for this motherboard to actually fit in here. Let's see what happens if I move this all the way over to here. So no, that will still not fit up there. So I guess we're going front mount on this guy. Which involves just making a couple different decisions here. Well, actually, I'm not going to blame Thermaltake on this one. I'm going to blame Arctic. So instead of being a 240 millimeter radiator, it's a 280 millimeter radiator. So it's wider. So instead of it taking up, here, let me move this back. So instead of it taking up this amount of room, it's taking up the full width of this. So with the fans on there, there's physically nowhere to go with them. Yeah. So here we are. We are going to remove one of these hard drive racks. And hope that'll give me the amount of clearance that I need to actually accomplish this. So we're going to see if we can fit this on the front now. If I slide this hard drive rack down, I think I'll be fine. Because it has a little bit of wiggle room on it. This is going to end up being a very, very long build. You can see that already. This is what happens when you get like parts for a build like this, and like stuff just doesn't line up. Oh, of course. Why would any of these screws actually line up? So this hard drive case is going to be, or the hard drive enclosure thing here is going to be a little bit loose. This case, like I've already spent more time trying to install this radiator than I have in building some computers. This is just... So the screw holes for mounting the hard drive enclosure, which is this thing here, do not line up. So if I line up these holes on this side, it doesn't line up on the other side. Like it's slightly infuriating. What I'm about to do is see if I can just mount this hard drive onto this rear plate and call it a day. I am not 3D printing stuff that I'm putting in a customer's computer. I will never will I ever do that. Because then, like, if it's for the outside of a case, sure, but the inside, never. Because the second something goes wrong, it comes back to bite you. We have found a solution. What we're going to end up doing is, so this hard drive is going to end up getting mounted right here. Cable will go down. We'll have like, so yeah, so that's where this is going to be. This hard drive will be mounted down here. And then like I can lift the whole case by this and it'll be nice and secure. So there's that. That is now figured out. The other side though, we are now going to remove the front fans, move the front fans up top, and then mount the radiator here. Oh, like I said, this is just going to take way longer than it should. Thermaltake like sat there and like in their meetings and like, we can do this. They never thought, should we do this? Like if you have a full air setup, this would be great. If you have a custom water cooled loop, this would be okay. But as soon as you go with like a generic all-in-one like this, that changes everything. Because manufacturers don't design around like every single case. And the case manufacturers don't design around component manufacturers. Yeah, this thing is going to be quite large. We got ourselves a full-size case that's not cooperating with the mid-size cooler. So these fans are going to get mounted up top. All right. So now, these guys are going to go this way. Now, my whole thing is like, I'm sitting here wondering if these are still going to clear. I mean, they should. Let's grab this board and make sure. Yeah, that's much better. Much, much better. I'm just noticing the back of this case is actually bent. So that doesn't help. Is that intentional? I think it is. Yeah, this thing took a whack someplace during shipping. I didn't even notice that until just now. Hey, this is Thermaltake. Got me asking questions, man. Like, I guarantee you, like, once I give this to the person, they're never gonna realize that it's like that. But like, I'm gonna tell them about it. You're thinking of making a small file share server with RAID Z. Should I opt for an old Xeon motherboard or for a ready NAS? Man, like, see, that's a good question. You can get like, I'll use my office here as an example. I spent $600 on a Dell Blade server, like one of their old Blade servers that's a couple years out of date, that's no longer receiving report, or no longer receiving support. And that is probably the best money I ever spent. Yeah, it's a big thing that sits around, but I have a full file share server that's running dual Xeon processors. Like, or you can just go with something like TrueNAS. Like, just get a regular computer and like run TrueNAS on it. Just learn how to set all that up and go there. Like, it really comes down to A, the amount of space you have, B, how much your electricity costs. Because I know over in Europe, that's a big thing to worry about right now, is like how much your energy costs are, because they're like astronomical. So like, I would say like your best bet would probably be getting just like a NAS enclosure versus running a whole PC. But yeah, I would, like, honestly, like, how expensive is your power? Because that's really what it's going to come down to. So those are now exhaust fans. All right, let's lay this guy down. We have these upper fans installed. We have a bunch of exhausts. I'm going to create some negative pressure, and then we're going to have this guy pulling in the front. This is terrible. There's no way to hide these cables. Back to the single-use bags. And put every screw that can possibly go into the computer in one bag. Okay. And then this guy is going to go. I can flat out say I dislike this cooler. I just do not like it. Because we're gonna have these cables are gonna come up this way. This thermal paste is green. And there's like barely any of it. Well, what the hell? Alright, so we now have our intake here. We're going to pull across. We have our exhaust fans for that. This is just a weird case, to say the least. All right, let's get some cable management done. I'm getting beaten down by this case. Like, this is just... Like, why do I need this giant thing? It's going to go right there. Case is making me like contemplate building computers going forward. So these all got to go here. These cables are stupid long. Honestly, my biggest gripe with this build is this power supply. Like, with the rest of the components that are going in here, this is like on the edge of being not enough. And that's the beauty of like having a custom computer, is you can add, upgrade, and change parts as you see fit, as you generate more revenue. Like, look at that build that Linus just did yesterday. That, like, it was $500 for the whole computer, right? So you have that $500 computer, and then a year from now you can upgrade the components in it. Alright, we're just plugging in these header cables, and then I'm going to cable manage it all. So this is, like, Thermaltake is trying to have me believe that this whole, all of the RGB for these fans is going to come off of this, off of a 12 volt header. Which, alright. We'll see here. Like, if I was personally building this, I would probably opt for more memory day one and go with a... See, I can't, honestly, I can't say that, because I would go with everything else in this build and just add more memory later. I think that's what I would personally do, now that I think about it. But then again, I don't know what their budget was. Like, if I knew what their initial budget was, I probably would have budgeted a little bit different stuff. I definitely wouldn't have gone with this case. They could have probably... How much was this case? I gotta look up to see how much this case was. So this case is $240. They could have taken, like, gotten a cheaper case, taken the money that they spent on this. Wow. Taken the money they spent on this, and then gotten more memory. 100%. So there you go. This is one place where they definitely made a mistake. Is this case. I dislike this case with a passion already. Now knowing how much this case costs, I like it even less. Let's say they went with a 5000D. That's $100 cheaper. They could have gotten 32 gigs of memory with these savings. I have seen too many Toshiba hard drive failures, just like personally, but I would not recommend them at all. So Holden, you win this argument, like, instantly. As soon as I found that out, like, no. They definitely misallocated some of their budget. But all right, so like personally, if I took like I can just do the math quickly and figure out how much this build actually cost. I would definitely do some things different, but I would still go with DDR5 over DDR4. That's one thing that I'm like super excited about when I eventually upgrade my home PC. Because this case is bent, it seems actually hard to get in there. And now we're going to plug in the infamous 12-volt power cable. We're going to make sure that it's all the way down in there. Okay. Let's get some power going on here. We're only going to need a single SATA, hopefully. Actually, I'm probably going to need both SATAs. That sucks. This is going to be tight. Very tight. Actually, this doesn't even have enough. This does not have enough cables for the to power this motherboard. We're actually going to do a quick power test here to see if there's actually enough power to run this thing off of this. And then we'll finish cable managing everything. As if there is, it's great. If there isn't, well, we're starting over and we're going to say, hey, you're going to need to get a bigger power supply. Alright, so we have the most important, I know this looks absolutely terrible. We have the most important things plugged in. Let's see what we get out of this right now. I need an HDMI cable. Where are you? Yep. Okay, let's see what happens. All right, so we have power. Cool. All right, so we're good on power, despite what I thought. Well, let's run some cables now. Okay, well, let's do some more cable management. Let's see how that cable does. This cable's already like self-managed itself. This is going to grab our hard drive now. Like, I'm probably going to end up having to use, like, just because of the way this whole thing is laid out, probably going to end up having to use that top slot. And there's no, like, I do not like this case. There is no cable management stuff on this side whatsoever. And like to cable manage this, I would have to come all the way over to, what am I gonna do? Go here? Like, come on. Not a fan of this case. Not much better, but it's better. All right. We got everything in there. That. Alright, we got this isn't a good sound already. It sounds like this loop is underfilled. I think this like cooler is underfilled. Because I actually can hear liquid moving around in this pump. Yeah, that thing, the controller for the all-in-one cooler is not working. Like, and it's not staying connected to anything for me. And I'm getting no RGB off of it. Whatever. Let's get Windows 11 installed. You need to make sure XMP is turned on. Alright, cool. That's enabled. This case is like not on my list of ever buy agains for like, and I'm gonna tell the customer, look, you guys could have gotten like a better setup with a better case for less money. Let's go with all blue. So this is what this looks like. Bright as hell. Is there an actual rainbow? Nope. Go back to static. Beautiful. Now we add all the weight back to this case, and we put it back in its half packaging and get it out of here. So this is a case where you can't hide anything. Like, there's no rear panel on this whatsoever. It's just a sheet of glass. So the cable management's got to look semi-good. These doors weigh like 10 pounds each. Crazy how heavy these things are. This thing is like getting unwieldy. Alright, and that's it. And this thing's getting out of here. And I'm getting out of here. Hey, thanks for watching that video. You can check out some of the other videos for more tech-related content. And if you want to catch me live, I am on Twitch at twitch.tv/SpecVengeance, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come hang out, chat, and maybe learn a thing or two. Thanks for watching.